feel like we're on the verge of something big happening as well. Rin, she has the makings of a villain, but she's our main protagonist, and I think she's gonna help the good guys. I don't know. Is he a good person? No, he actually was an assassin sent to kill her. Creating creatures that are like subject to that world was something that I was just obsessed with. Hi my loves, welcome back or welcome to my channel. Welcome if you guys are new. I foolishly forgot to do an intro to this video. I was so excited that I just jumped straight into reading. So I just wanted to say welcome to the video. We are doing another installment in the Finishing Every series I am in the middle of. This vlog is exciting because we're going to be starting with the Remnant Chronicles, and we are up to the last book in the Remnant Chronicles, so it means we can actually tick a series off after I finish this one. The Remnant Chronicles is by Mary E. Pearson, if you didn't know. It is I would say like a YA fantasy romance series. If you haven't heard of it, we are following Princess Leia, who runs away from her duty of being princess because she just doesn't feel up to it. She doesn't want to endure all this politics, and she is also lacking something pretty influential. She runs away to a distant village, and at that village she meets two men. One of them is the prince she was originally meant to marry, be put into a forced marriage with, and one is an assassin who has been sent to kill her. She doesn't know who either of these people are, and it kind of just goes from there. To be honest, we have developed so much throughout this series. Leia has developed as a character so much. That is going to be the first series we're going to be diving into for this video. I thought I'd just give it a little intro. We don't know what the rest of this video holds, what series we'll be continuing, but we'll be getting through it and ticking them off because I am in the middle of way too many series. But yeah, without me rambling anymore, let's get into it. I truly just had one of the most life-terrifying experiences. I know I live in Australia, okay, but I am deadly afraid of spiders. Like, I hate them. I actually don't know if there's anything in this world that I hate more than spiders. Like, they terrify me to my core. I absolutely can't. Anyway, I was sitting here snuggling in my blanket, getting nice and cozy, because like you have to snuggle in your blanket when you read. I see out of the corner of this, out of the corner of my eye, I'm just sitting there, I've got Maisie on my lap. I see like this thing move and I'm like, it's nothing, it's nothing. I see it move again and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna look. And I was thinking like maybe an ant at the worst case. I was like, maybe an ant, but it's probably nothing. It's probably a bit of dust. Oh, there's a spider crawling up me. It wasn't a massive one, it was like this big. So maybe a bit bigger, maybe like that big, but it had really big legs and a really big bum. And that's how you know they're poisonous. And Austin's not home, so I had to just fight it off my life. It was a big situation for me. Anyway, so now I can't relax properly and I'm like constantly aware, but I have been reading tonight. So we're actually 100 pages in, 117 pages in, chapter 18. This is a ridiculously easy book to read. Like, you get immersed into it so quickly. Obviously got my PJs on, we're trying to be comfy. We were left on a super big cliffhanger at the end of the last book. So I was definitely really anxious to get into this one. I had a lot of questions. I was very curious to where we're gonna go. I feel like a big theme in this is a love triangle as well, but it's not the forefront of our plot. Like, we definitely have a lot more major things going on, and like the love triangle is kind of just there to like maybe add some fun. I'm not hating it at the moment. I do think I'm a Caden girl. I don't know why. I can't even explain to you. Rafe is like all the green flags. I should like Rafe, but, and I'm not someone to go for a bad boy or anything, but like something about Caden that I like. And I'm like, I can tell you're a good person. Is he a good person? No, he's actually was an assassin sent to kill her. That's in the first book, don't worry. There's no spoilers. I have been really enjoying this series. I love how easy Mary E. Pearson's writing is. And this is very classic fantasy. You know, it's very Lord of the Rings type, Game of Thrones situation, like very classic fantasy. We're going on quests, we're going on adventures, we're riding horses, we've got bows and arrows and swords and everything like that. Classic fantasy, which I always really love. Leia as a protagonist, I don't love her, I don't hate her. She's just kind of there for me. Like, she's definitely like a very core point to the plot. Very core character, obviously, she's the protagonist, but I'm not really connected to her. I'm not like not connected to her. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of feelings towards her, but she's a really good protagonist to kind of see the plot through, if that makes sense. We also have multiple perspectives, which I love, and these chapters are so short. I think that's why I've sped through the first bit so quickly, because the chapters are so short. It kind of just keeps you engaged the entire time. But yeah, I actually don't have that much to update so far because I feel like we're only just getting things started again. Look at my bookmark, look how cute it is. I'm gonna try and read more tonight and not terrify myself. The spiders are gonna be crawling all over me. Like, where there's one, there might be more. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. I'm gonna be fine. I think I'm at a point I can update you guys more. I am halfway through already. I have been binging this book, for lack of a better word. For context, before this, I had like a week where I was hardly able to read. I was so busy. I had a lot of assignments due. I had a lot of commitments, no time to read. But sometimes that's good because then you're like, all I want to do is read, and you're just craving reading. So that means you just like, when you do get the chance, when you do have time, you just binge books, and it's the best feeling ever. Anyway, I can confidently say I am team Caden. I'm team Caden, guys. I can finally announce halfway through the last book in the series, I've announced my team. I just don't like Rafe. I just think Rafe, there's something about him, you know? Maybe ulterior motives. I don't know. He doesn't like her for the right reasons, is my reasoning. I'm literally going off 5, guys. I don't have a lot of context. Anyway, I feel like Leah is growing on me. She's kind of becoming a little bit of a badass. I'm like, wow, I didn't see that coming for you. Also, we have so much action in this book so far. I feel like the past 2 books, a lot of it has been like, there's been this big chunk in the middle where it's like, we're on this adventure, we're working our way towards this big ending or this big action. And I feel like right now we're on an adventure still. Like, and I love being on an adventure, riding on horses, visiting different kingdoms, blah, blah, blah. There are so many little things that keep happening, that keep throwing you off, and like things that keep interrupting the protagonist's paths. And I love that. You get settled and you have moments of like relief, but then you're like, oh my gosh, something's happening again. I feel like we're on the verge of something big happening as well. And it's definitely giving, I don't really know who to trust right now. Like, I feel like some of our characters might have ulterior motives that I'm not really sure about. Not really our main characters, but I'm starting to question some side characters. Also, I like that a lot of the conflict between our kind of main cast of characters is political. It's not these petty little communications, like these little miscommunications that the people are reading into or something. It's actually like genuine stuff. Like, it's a political reasoning that's keeping them apart, or that's keeping them from doing this, or that's making them do something. Sometimes I'm like with Leah, I'm like, are you being really smart or are you being really stupid? Like, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell, because I feel like one thing about Mary E. Pearson's writing is you don't know the protagonist's thinking until it's happened, if you know what I mean. Like, you kind of are in the unknown as much as the other person. As I said before as well, we do have alternating POVs and the chapters are so quick. So it's very like, it keeps you on your toes the entire time. You're switching between these different characters. Sometimes we're all together. Sometimes the characters are in different areas. So that's also kind of good because you get a kind of broader scope of everything that's going on. What's interesting about this world is that we don't have a map. I can't lie to you. As a visual person, I really appreciate it when we have a map, because then I can go back and see where our characters are. It makes a lot more sense to me. So I'm a little bit sad about that fact, but that's okay. You know, we deal with it. We've definitely had the plot thicken with one of our other side characters, and I'm really interested how that's going to affect us overall. I feel like it's also going to bring out some inner personalities of some people. I'm being so vague. I am so sorry. As I said before, guys, it's such a classic fantasy. It's got everything I love in a classic fantasy. We've got like learning to fight, learning combat, but also just like whilst we're on this big adventure, and like whilst we're on, you know, whilst we're like settled down for the night and we're in camps or we're having a rest day or something, we can learn to fight and everything like that. Those little moments I cherish in my fantasy books. I love them so much. I kind of want to almost like reread Dance of Thieves after this, because I'm like, I want to see how this intertwines, because I read Dance of Thieves duology such a long time ago. I remember our characters and everything, but I'd be really interested to reread it and see how the worlds intertwine, because if you didn't know, this is a prequel to the Dance of Thieves series, or not really a prequel. I guess that implies that it's like adds to the Dance of Thieves. It's just set in the same world as the Dance of Thieves duology. Like, am I liking it more than Dance of Thieves? I don't know. I feel like I need to reread it to clarify that, because I'm like, I have really fond memories of Dance of Thieves, and I really liked the world and the whole like romance line in that. I also love how Mary E. Pearson's romance lines, they're very addictive and you're very into them, but they're also very realistic, and they're not going to be like these tiny little, like, they don't, okay. We talk about this on the podcast a bit, but you know, like sometimes in situations when it's a really intense, like a negotiation going on between kingdoms or something, and all our main protagonist can do is like, oh my gosh, she looks stunning in that dress, or oh my gosh, his biceps are showing through that shirt he's wearing. Like, guys, not the time. Feel like Mary Pearson doesn't do that for the most part. Anyway, let's keep reading today. Should we see how much we can get read? We literally have like 50 pages left of The Heart of Betrayal. Honestly, I'm confused because there is so much action going on right now. We truly have the most action we've had the entirety of the book. and I am so confused as to what's going to happen now. I've just got so many questions right now. Things are happening. Things are happening so much. There was one point, maybe 100 pages ago, a little bit less, I just had some of the most intense moments of my reading journey. I was like, this is crazy. I can't even explain it, but I feel like if you've read it, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Just something happened that put a lot of people in jeopardy, and I did not expect that to happen, and I didn't know how it was going to come out, and then it happened, and then like we had a resolution to it, but now this is happening. We're kind of just at the main climax politically and action wise. Like we're in a kind of a world that's been on the verge of war for the past however long, and like in the beginning, that's what Leah was meant to, like she was meant to marry into this other kingdom to kind of help keep the peace between kingdoms. So that's kind of just setting the scene. I feel like this book has been so much more political than the last books, and I love that. Like I feel like we've really worked up to this. It very much feels like a conclusion in that sense, but also I thought we would be concluded by now. I actually thought we'd be concluded by now. I'm kind of confused on what's going to go on. I think we should just sit down and finish it together now. Then we can have full chats. What is happening? I'm so confused. This guy. Oh my gosh. We literally have 20 pages left. What is going on right now? I kind of feel bad. What's going on? Wait. I'm actually kind of liking this. Oh, okay. I mean, I get it. Not to spoil anything, but the end. Let me change my battery. Okay, battery is charged. Actually, it was kind of, I want to say like bittersweet for me. This book is really hard to talk about without spoiling anything. The ending was bittersweet. I think I liked it. This isn't a 5-star. The whole series isn't a 5-star, but it's such a good series. And as I was saying earlier, it's just such a classic series. Like it feels like such a classic fantasy world. And I love that so much. Like I truly, truly do. I love going on adventures. I was literally watching Lord of the Rings the other night for the first time in a while. And I was like, God, I love a good adventure novel. I know some people really don't like the whole journey segment. Like they kind of read that to get to the destination, if you know what I mean. I personally love the journey. I love it so much. It almost felt like the first 2 books were a journey up to this, just because of how things panned out. I actually think this one was probably the most addictive one I've read though. It was fast paced. Things were happening the entire time. The other 2 were definitely slower moments in this. And whilst there was 1 or 2 in this, like honestly wrapped up pretty quickly. There was a lot going on. There was full action a lot of the time in this book. It was so easy to read, so fast paced. My final thoughts on the love triangle. I am a Caden girl. If you know what happens, you can do with that information what you will. I feel like I'm meant to be a Rafe girl. Like I feel like that he's like targeted, but I don't know. Guys. I'm not very good with love triangles. I'm not good at picking a side. That is probably the only thing that really did bug me. It was fine. I do think when a love triangle lasts beyond 1 or 2 books, like wrap it up. Can we wrap it up now? Like seriously? And like it doesn't mean that the 2 people have to get together. It just means that I want the main protagonist to make a choice, if that makes sense. I'm talking very broadly at the moment as well. This goes for a lot of love triangles. This counts for every single love triangle I've read apart from Cassandra Clare, because she loves a love triangle. Do not understand why, but she nails it every single time. Even in her books now and then, I will get annoyed when like the protagonist has these 2 incredible people chasing after her, or maybe one isn't so incredible. I don't know. She just can't choose and she's like, I love them in different ways. Girl, no you don't. Just choose. So that kind of played a role in this as well. And in the back of my mind, it was annoying me, but I was so invested in the action and what was happening in this book that I was like, you know what, we'll give it a pass, okay? I do think it was a really good conclusion. I do think so. I think it's like a 4 point, I'm going to go somewhere in between like a 4.25 and a 4.5, but I feel like I'm leaning towards 2.5. I love these books. There's a little bit of separation. I'm not obsessed with the characters. Leah did grow on me throughout this book. I will say she had this insane character arc and like just development throughout this book. Yes, throughout the series, but this one, I was like, you're finally like stepping up and you were standing your ground, and I love that for you. But in saying that, I wasn't insanely connected to her or any of the other characters, so I think there was that point of separation for me. That is our first book done. That means we have officially finished the Remnant Chronicles, which I'm really happy about because that was a big goal of mine going into this year. I'll probably put it in my reading diary now. And then I think the next book we're going to read is going to be a little one because we're going to go onto a bigger one. I think I'm leaning towards the Poppy War, the next one in the Poppy War, or Red Rising. I can't decide. But for now, we're just going to sit down and read. Maybe we might even read this tonight. I'm not sure. But it is Dawnshard by Brandon Sanderson. So this is like a little novella type book. I think it's like 250 pages that goes in between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War in the Stormlight Archive. So I am up to this. I need to read this to be able to continue on to Rhythm of War, and I have been itching to continue to Rhythm of War recently. So in this one, I can't say too much because it's like a novella in between the two, and we're so far and so deep into this series. But the first little paragraph says, when a ghost ship is discovered, its crew are presumed dead after trying to reach the storm-shrouded island of Akina. Akina is a dangerous place, draining the magics of knights who fly too close. Navini. I think I was pronouncing that wrong. I think I was saying Navani, but I think it's like Navini. Must send an expedition to ensure the island hasn't fallen into enemy hands. So we do have crossover characters from our Stormlight Archive, obviously. My last experience with like the last Stormlight novella, we were focusing on a particular character who influenced the next book a whole lot. So it was actually quite a key novella that you did have to read to understand what was going to go on in the next one. So I'm assuming that's going to be the same situation for this. But yeah, let's start this one tonight. I think it'll be a good little breather in between two books. I am 106 pages into Dawnshard. I read about 80 or 90 last night, and then I fully just fell asleep. I was exhausted, but we're going to finish it today. That's my goal. We're going to finish it today. It's fine. It's like 150 pages left or something, not even. So I think we'll be fine. I feel like Brandon Sanderson is so underappreciated, or something that isn't talked about enough when like recommending his books specifically, is his incorporation of mythical creatures and his creation of mythical creatures in the Stormlight Archive, and honestly in a lot of his worlds. He creates the most unique, immersive creatures that I have never heard of before, and I don't know about you, but I feel like it goes back to all of my older series that I was obsessed with that kind of got me into reading. Obviously, like Harry Potter and everything, with all those mythical creatures, Lord of the Rings, creating creatures that are like subject to that world was something that I was just obsessed with, and I loved finding out about new mythical creatures. So I feel like that's an aspect that you don't always get in fantasy books, but when you do get it, and when they are actually completely unique, like they're not a centaur or something like that, like they're fully new creatures to you, I love that. And Brandon Sanderson does an incredible job of that, especially in the Stormlight Archive. I also really appreciate in his bigger books, like in the actual Stormlight Archive, like obviously this is a novella, but in the big books there's usually like sketches of the characters, not the characters, of the creatures we're talking about, so you can picture them easier. I just really like it, and I feel like it's not talked about enough. This is really good so far, very much focusing on mythical creatures, and it's almost giving like Tress vibes, if you know what I mean. Like we are on this kind of expedition, this journey on ships, and it's like we're looking for treasure basically. Like that does play a big role in it. I'm gonna look up how to pronounce this character's name, because guys, to be completely honest with you, I have real trouble pronouncing things out loud. I can read them in my head and it will be completely wrong. I don't know if that's like some form of something that I've got going on, but I've always had it. I really have trouble. This is me being super vulnerable. Blech. I can't even speak. This is me being vulnerable right now because I get kind of insecure about it. I can't pronounce things out loud very well. And so when I'm like pronouncing authors' names or a character's names, if I mispronounce it, that's because I've read it wrong in my head. I don't know if it's like a form of dyslexia or something, but I mix letters up in my mind, and I will, if I haven't heard of the word before, I'll just kind of create a sound in my head that makes sense, and I'll see a few letters and put those few letters together rather than taking every letter into consideration. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna look this up on how to pronounce this character's name. Ryzen. I think we can do that. Okay, Ryzen. She is a ship owner, and she basically lost use of her legs years ago, and now she has like this kind of companion mythical creature that helps her around. Essentially, like it's like her little sidekick. Okay, I think my mic is about to die on me. It's giving me the red light. Then Rysen's creature gets ill, and so this kind of lines up with Navini's request to travel to this mysterious island. So she decides to take the job, basically. That's kind of where we're heading. That's the plotline of our story. I'm enjoying it so far. It's a really fun read. Also really comedic. Like it's actually hilarious. I'm laughing out loud. Okay, I actually have quite a lot to update you on, so get comfy. Ended up finishing Dawnshard Dawnshard. I feel like that's not a surprise. It's a very little book. It was 240 pages. Really funny, actually. Sanderson has a really fun sense of humor. His books are always quite witty and quick, and I really, really like that. I really, really enjoyed this one. I am very curious to see how these characters are going to influence the later books. I feel a bit ready to move on to Rhythm of War now. I don't know when that'll be, but I hope it's soon. I really do. We had a few characters that we know and love in this one, and I also just feel like all of our characters in the Stormlight Archive as a whole, they're very distinctive. They all have very strong personalities, and I really, really like that. They also just have such a special place in my heart. I am just obsessed with this world as a whole. I love Spren. Spren are like my favorite invention in a fantasy world ever. I love the idea of like your emotions getting shown through Spren, through these little like fairy type things. I think that is so cute. I always really, really, really struggle to rate novellas because yes, they're a book, but like they're so little that I feel like, I don't know, I feel like with this one we were lucky because we had already been introduced to all of our characters. We already knew our key characters going into this. So it's not like we had to get introduced to a whole new cast of characters, a magic system and everything. So I think that helps a lot with novellas. Kind of felt very like piratey vibes, which I really like. Seeking down this mysterious island. It's very like adventurous, very kind of classic fantasy, which I really like. I'm a little bit nervous for Rhythm of War because I know that it's very dense and I know it's going to be good because it's a Sanderson and I've loved every single book so far. I just know that it's going to be a lot more dense than some of the other books we've been reading. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil anything. Definitely read it if you're doing your Cosmere journey at the moment. I do think it's really important to read the novellas in the Stormlight Archive because they really give you a lot of extra detail that you do need going into the next books. At least that was definitely the fact for the last one. I think it'll be the fact for this one as well. I think there's only 2 novellas in the Stormlight Archive. Anyway, I finished that one and then I went straight on because I feel like that one wasn't very heavy. It was almost like a fun fantasy read, like a cozy fantasy read. So I went straight on, I know I'm brave, to The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. So this is going to be the next book. I think I mentioned that we're going to be reading in this series. So let me say, the Poppy War as a whole, I had like really put my guard up. I was so ready to be just emotionally destroyed over it. And it wasn't as dark as I was expecting. I think I had prepped myself up so much that I was expecting some really intense scenes. There was 1 or 2, but it wasn't as a whole dark as I was expecting, especially like when we were at the academy and everything. You know, Rin was just getting introduced to everything. However, I am like, a quarter of the way into this and I already have so many thoughts and it is already so much darker. The themes are so much more intense than in the Poppy War. Rin, she has the makings of a villain, but she's our main protagonist and I think she's gonna help the good guys. I don't know. I'm really confused by it. I feel like Rin is the kind of character that could pull anything and I just would be like, yep, okay, well, I'd have to expect that from her because she is really unpredictable. Like, I don't understand her thinking. If you don't know what the Poppy War is about, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, first one, we are following our main protagonist Rin, who works her way up to the entrance exam of this academy, which basically trains you in war strategies and helps you become a good soldier. Because we are set in a very war-torn kind of world. This is also based off the Opium Wars, so we do have like a little bit of real history intertwined in there, which can kind of make it a little bit more brutal in my opinion. But we're kind of just following Rin as she gets introduced to this whole new world once she enters the academy. We get introduced to a whole cast of characters and kind of just get to know the political situation at stake. Honestly, despite the fact that it is quite a political, historical book, I was expecting it to be a really dense read. It's actually so easy to read. It is so easy to read. And that's why I've read like 200 pages of this already without even thinking, because you can really just sit down and read 100 pages without even realizing it. Yeah, so as I said, this one is so much darker. Rin definitely endured some situations in the last book that has kind of shaped her outlook in this one, has shaped her actions in this one, and I'm a little bit terrified. I will say, I feel like I've kind of almost put up this front purposefully and trying not to get too attached to the characters. I don't think that'll last very long. I already see myself getting attached to some. Nedja, I think that's how Jamie said it was pronounced. I can see myself really liking him. I can, and that makes me nervous because I'm like, I don't really want to get emotionally attached to anyone because then it's just going to hurt more, I assume, if anything happens to anyone. Setting a very different tone for this one, I'm really quite nervous to see where we go from here. We're definitely very much setting up a political framework for the rest of the book. I can only pray and hope for myself going forward because I know it's going to be dark. But yeah, anyway, that is my big update. I'm going to read as much as I can today. We'll see how far we get in. Guys, I am very close to finishing The Dragon Republic. It is the next day. I am gonna sit down and finish it now, but I'm like 100 pages away. Obviously, I'll film my reaction. I'm a little bit terrified, to be completely honest, but I just read one of the most intense fight scenes I have read, or battle scenes rather, I have read in a long time. I was like on the edge of my seat the entire time. I feel like R.F. Kuang is falling into the genre or the category of authors that I cannot trust. Has she done anything absolutely like insane? Yeah, I don't know. But I'm just getting the vibe that I can't trust her. So I'm kind of nervous coming to the end of this. I'm a little bit more coherent than I was last night. I feel like last night I was grabbing at straws, trying to explain the magic system, the politics system, everything like that. I love Katai. I love Katai so much, guys. I mean, I liked him at the beginning. I just like, I don't know, I feel like I've really grown a connection to him throughout this book, and I'm really happy that I have grown a stronger connection to some of our characters, because I feel like that's something I was lacking in the first book. Some of them are so conflicting. To be honest, all of these characters are really conflicting because they're in such an intense situation. Like, we're in war. I don't know how to feel about them because their minds are almost not working as a normal person's mind would. Like, you're in these ethical situations that there's no right answer to. You know that like one ethical dilemma where it's like there's a tram or a train or something and you can pull the lever and kill one person or kill 5 people, except the one person is you know them, and then the fight. Like, you know that? The entire series so far has felt like that dilemma. I just feel like there's no right answer. I don't know what I would do in this situation. I don't know what our characters are going to do in this situation. It's really intense at the moment. I'm kind of confused. I'm like, this is the second book. It feels like the ending. It feels like a massive climax. So I'm like, what is going to happen after this? Where are we going after this? I don't know. I'm a little bit scared. I will say I feel like it's one of those books that I would not be able to explain very well, and it's one of those books where things are going to keep clicking after I've finished reading it. I feel like I said the first one was quite easy to read, but yeah, this one's definitely a lot harder. I feel like my brain is just a little bit busy at the moment, so it's getting a little bit harder to read. I'm going to need something so simple after this. I'm probably going to go and read Dungeon Crawler Carl. I absolutely cannot go on to the third book straight away. I need a break. I feel like I've almost become numb to some of the things in this as well. Like when they're talking about the aftermath of situations and how many like innocent lives were lost or something. Like, this is just war. That happens. I've almost become numb to it, almost just not reacting to her talking about it in such intense detail. Oh, I don't know. I've just read so much now. I feel like I've really been exposed. I would say exposure therapy, but no, I'm going to need more therapy after this. So yeah, I don't know. Let's finish it. We'll talk about my final thoughts. No way. I knew I couldn't trust her. Oh my god. Oh my god. I thought everything was like gonna be okay. I really did, like, or at least for a moment. I thought it was gonna be okay for a moment. Let me rephrase, yeah. Oh, we're back to Ruthless Rin, okay. This is a lot. What a lost line. Oh my god. Guys, I've literally lost the fluffy. Oh, got too invested. I lost the fluffy cover. We just finished The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. I'm speechless. I had a feeling that things were going to go downhill. Like, obviously, it's the second book in a series. It couldn't be wrapped up, obviously. As I said earlier, I was so confused as to where we were going to go because it felt like the conflict was wrapping up. And I was like, oh, okay. And no, a lot more happened. I definitely earlier was reading it and got a little bit teary. There were definitely some moments. I didn't cry. I definitely like my eyes watered up a few times during this book, but I didn't cry. Again, I think I've been like emotionally separating myself from it a little bit. Oh my god. But like, it's ended in a way that I'm kind of just like, it's like adrenaline is pumping through my veins right now. Rin went on a journey in this book. She truly did, and we went on that journey with her. She is such a conflicting character to me. I love her, I hate her, everything in between, to be completely honest. That ending was insane. The last like 20 pages of this, my heart was pounding. I was like, what is going on right now? Oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm so lost for words. I'm so scared for the burning god. Are you serious? Oh my god. I actually have no idea what I'd rate this. I feel like it wasn't quite a 5-star just because there were definitely moments that felt quite dense, but in like, I don't know, it just didn't give me 5-star feels, but it was like a 4.75 or something. Like, it's just a tiny bit off. And also, I'm getting really angry whilst I'm reading this book. I'm getting angry at Rin a lot. I think you're meant to, but I struggle when I get angry at our main protagonist. I really do. Again, I said this earlier, but I feel like I started to get a little bit used to how dark this was, but it just thinking about it now is so much darker than the first one. It's actually insane to me. I'm gonna be thinking about this. Like, I feel like I need to just like stare at the wall for 20 minutes and get my head around everything that just happened. I will say immersive reading towards the end, I really, really enjoyed it. I definitely couldn't have done it this whole book, but the last little bit, I think it really, really helped. It kind of made me like force myself to read slower, to take everything in and to not race ahead, because I do have a tendency to do that when I'm getting really into books and getting really excited. I can read it too quickly and then I'll be like, wait, did I just read that correctly? So I think it was good. It kind of helped me slow down a little bit. What a way to finish this vlog. I'm so nervous to continue to the next one. But I guess, yeah, we'll have to do that at some point. I feel like I do need a bit of a break, but not a seriously long one, just like a few reads and then we'll jump into it, because I do want to read this trilogy pretty closely together. You guys have said continuously that is probably the best way to do it, to like read it together and it would have a bigger impact. So I can see why. There's just so much detail to all the books as well. I actually last night kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole and was looking up like summaries of the political world explained, and that definitely helped. So there's a lot of great ones on TikTok. I just had to be careful avoiding spoilers and everything like that, which I actually did. But yeah, I am shocked. I cannot believe what I just read, and that is an incredible way to end this vlog. If you've watched to the end, thank you so, so much. This was a bit of an emotional roller coaster vlog, but I hope you enjoyed watching along and reading along with me. Let me know some series you're currently in the middle of, if you want to finish them, if any of them are overlapping with me. I love you guys so much though. Thank you for watching to the end. It really, truly means the world to me, and I will see you in my next video.